Yo. Let me know if you can hear me. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Type something in the chat if you can hear me. Yo. We're gonna wait for a few more people to come in. We here. See, we in here. We live. Okay. Sounds a little low. All right. We in here. Sounds a little low. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. What about now? Can you hear it now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me better now? Yeah. Yes, no, maybe so. I'm gonna go on my YouTube app too so I can get the things, the messages quicker. Okay, that sounds good. Still a little low. Sounds good on my joint. Let me know if this audio is good. Hold on. I got a lot on my dime. I can't afford to waste time. Not with you, girl, you too complacent. And I'm too impatient to only be getting your love on occasion. Let's face it, don't wanna be down for the ride, you just want the end game. Where you knew my name, guess I'll never really be true love for me. Yeah. I'm trying to get this microphone set up. It's the same thing that happened last time. It was working and then stopped working. Just makes no. Okay. That might be better. What about now? It's coming through speakers. I mean, it was tough though.
Alright, I'm gonna make sure that I speak up because we gotta rock. Alright, cool. Let me make sure that it's good though. Alright, I'm gonna make sure that I speak up. We gotta rock. Alright, cool. Let me make sure that it's good. Just take this up. Alright. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me get me on the screen. How do I get me back on the joint? And then we gonna rock, brothers. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Just gonna get me on here real quick. What's going on? It's still blurry, but it's all good. We're gonna rock. Is that better? Yes, better. Alright. Alright, cool. So you know how we start. Start with prayer. Good on this side. Okay, word. Father God, we come before you humbly and gracefully, Lord. Thanking you for another day. Thank you for bringing us here. We ask that you would open our minds to different ways of learning, different ways of teaching. We know that we don't know everything, Lord Jesus. So we're asking that you would give us wisdom, grant us with wisdom and understanding to know things that we didn't know, to ask questions that we want, the proper questions to unlock the proper knowledge. And we ask all these things in your precious name, Lord. Amen. Boom shakalaka. So this is a song called actually let me pull up the original song called Moving On. Song's word. Alright, cool. Song called Moving On by Alex. I keep picking him out because he's just dope. Like, we have a dope chemistry together. He's just dope. But I'm gonna play it full through once, and then we will go over some of the plugins, some of the sauce. Dion was already in the first class, so he knows a lot about these plugins already. But I'm gonna just run through them briefly, and then I'm gonna do the routing. I'm gonna show you how I do the routing with this parallel compression and the deverbs and stuff like that, and how the sends work.
Finally got you out of my head, now instead you be begging to get all up in my bed. You be pressing, doing things that you would never do for my attention. Why you stressing? See, you didn't want it before, now you see all of the things that I have in store. I got a lot on the line, I got a lot on my dime. I can't afford to waste time. Not with you, girl, you're too complacent, and I'm too impatient to only be getting your love on occasion. Let's face it, don't wanna be down for the ride, you just want the end game. Where was the attention when nobody knew my name? Cause it'll never really be true love for me. Yes, I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Yes, I'm moving on, moving on. I'm just trying to get through the stressing. Get all the money and the things that I earn. With every mistake comes a lesson. missing. There should be a lot of things that I've learned. But being here is leading to depression. Being here is causing lots of things that I'm regretting. I don't understand why I keep on chasing seconds that I can't keep. Same things keep happening over and over again. Some girl wants me to be more than a friend. We got things out, I get bored again and get bored again. Waiting on the board on the end. Bad girls ain't never been good to me. Good girls ain't never been enough for me. I try and I try, but honestly, guess I'll never really be true love for me. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Baby, swear all that I want is to be with someone. But I want what's for me, not what's available. Somebody I settle for. But until then, I guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, girl. Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. I want what's for me, not what's available. Somebody I settle for.
Boom. All right. Guys, my guy Alex, phenomenal artist, writer, performer. Yeah, he does it all. All right. So first and foremost, let me save as before I destroy this session. Moving on session. We're gonna call this dummy or class. All right. So, let's just go to the hook. We'll just break it down from the hook.
Let's see. But I want what's for me, not what's available. Somebody I settle for. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
So this is the main hook vocal right here, right?
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
All right. First and foremost, we need to clean up these vocals. Like I didn't clean the vocals up enough. This is like the mix before the last mix, because COVID happened and we wasn't able to. So, so what I would go here is like all of these little dead spots right here. We gotta get rid of these because these are just space and white noise and stuff like that. Fade these out. Fade this in.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
Alright. And then we're going to actually take a step back. I'm going to show you what I have on here first and foremost. Feel free to ask questions too, yo. Alright. So like we explained, like I explained my template before, Dion, and like this is basically, this is every I use this every time. Start off with, actually disable these. Alright. Sorry, yo. Apologize. Um,
Guess I'm moving.
so this routing thing is super important when you want to do like different kinds of effects to make it broad in the vocal instead of putting it on the actual channel. So, um, what we're gonna start is this already has auto tune on it. I will record my vocals and with auto tune on them on the actual channel so that we can hear how the artist sounds, so I can really be able to monitor how the artist sounds, um, with the auto tune on, because more than likely I'll be using the auto tune. But depending on the caliber of artist, I might not put too much on there. So for this, for instance, this is on 10, so he doesn't really need too much. But I put because he can actually sing, but I put just enough on there so that it's noticeable, but it's not too like over the top T-Pain with it. You know what I'm saying? So let's just start with that. So I have the auto tune here.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
That's on the raw vocal. Then I have my LA2A, which I love.
Guess I'm moving on,
So with the,
moving on.
so I'm gonna let you hear it without the LA2A, and I'm gonna let you hear it with the LA2A on.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
All right, now I'm gonna let you hear it with the LA2A.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
A lot more beefy, right? We already been down. I'm just gonna fly through these real quick. If you want to get the other lessons, I have the other lessons where I'm breaking these plugins down like to the T. I have those lessons available. So if y'all want those lessons, just hit me up. Let me know. Then we got the SSL Legacy, the E strip, the E channel strip, and this is just, I use this for like, it models after the real SSL console, so I use this for EQing. Also, I use this for gating, and I also use this for compression.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
As you
Guess
can see, my compression isn't even hitting too hard. Like, it's only coming to about 3 dB, maybe 6 a little bit. I'm not overly working it, because how much is auto tune? Do you use Melodyne? I don't use Melodyne. Melodyne is really good though for cleaning up vocals. It's a longer and more tedious process, but it's definitely dope. If you can get it and if you can master it, that'd be dope. But for me, because I'm always on the fly and I'm doing so many different things at once, I never had time to really sit down and give. I've Melodyne stuff, but I haven't really dug into Melodyne. Melodyne there's a lot of capabilities with that. So, but the auto tune that I use for vocals to record is auto tune live. I'm not specifically sure on how much I can't remember how much I paid for it, but you can easily go on to sweetwater.com and purchase it. Whether it's AutoTune Live or AutoTune 8, I think they might be at AutoTune Live by now, but and you can purchase it. So yeah, so that's that. That's the AutoTune. CLA, I showed you the CLA2A, I showed you the SSL E strip. So this is just a little bit of compression here. I have some EQing going on here just to clear up the vocal a little bit. I'm going to let you hear it without it and with it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Alright, now I'm going to let you hear it with it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Dope. Just gives it a nice little enhance. Doesn't overly exaggerate anything at all. Then the de-esser is what you really want to use because you'll hear those overly pronounced tss, tss, and pss, pss, like those. That's what this de-esser is for. This de-esser is to kind of tame those.
Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Guess I'm moving on. Moving on. Guess I'm moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Guess I'm moving on. Moving on. Guess I'm moving.
Okay, word. So that's what that does. As you can hear, you can already hear the difference in the de-essing. Like I said, I went through a lot of these in the previous classes. If you want those, I'll get those for you. How much auto tune do you? Let me see. What does release and attack mean in your own words? For compression. You talking about for compression? If not, I can find you. I can give you a great example. So if I think you're talking about compression, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Okay. So this is a perfect demonstration. So release is how quick you want the compression to release, to go back to the regular. And the attack is how fast you want the compression to attack the vocal. So normally what I do, if I'm in a situation like this, is I'm going fast attack, somewhat fast release, fast attack up top, and then a full fast release, because I want the vocal to be able to snap back like ASAP. So I want to go compress as far as long as I'm doing a vocal, and then once I take my breath, I want it to decompress, and then compress, and then decompress, and then compress, and then decompress, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna show you the difference on this.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
So I'm gonna show you how this attack. You can even see how slow the release is compared to it. So look how, because I over exaggerated on the attack. Right?
Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm moving on.
You hear the difference? You hear how this is really like loose, like it's compressing it, and it's attacking it, but it's not emphasizing too much on the compression. You can hear the difference. Listen.
Guess I'm moving on.
And now watch.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
You hear how it's containing the vocal. It's making it, it's giving it this saturation, but it's giving it this kind of like, for lack of better words, restrain. But it's just containing the vocal, because a vocal come in hot in different levels. So you want to make sure that there's definitely a compressor on there that's containing all of that.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
To the untrained ear, you won't hear it, but us as engineers, we should be able to hear it, hear what it is. So, yeah, does that answer your question, bro? We will move right along.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on.
Alright, so now this one right here is called Arvox. I think I already have that on. Nope, Arvox. Word good looks, yeah.
Guess I'm moving on.
Just by turning that on, it just went crazy. Listen to it off.
Guess I'm moving on.
Listen to it on.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Fire.
Guess I'm moving on.
Gives it mad warmth. Gives it presence. Brings the vocals forward. I love Arvox. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Then we got these channels here. So I'm gonna just turn them all on. We're not gonna spend too much time going through the rest of this, but like I said, you can go grab the lesson if you need it. So we're just gonna get right back to it, to the basic mix.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Alright, so you hear this reverb that I have in here? You see this thing called reverb right here? Watch when I take it off. Listen to the difference. It sounds completely dry. It still has somewhat of a presence to it, but it just sounds super dry. Watch this.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
Alright, now let me let you hear it with it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
Fire. It's a huge difference. Arvox, yep. Last plugin was Arvox. Sounds more aggressive. What's this called? Yeah, Arvox, yep. My fault, bro. Yeah, send it to me. I gotta go through the basics. Okay, cool. I'll send it to you. What was I saying? Okay. So, alright, so busing. So this is what we're gonna talk about. I'm not even done with this yet. So, actually, we're wanting a reverb, so I'll stay there. So, what I want to do to create that ambient effect in that reverb feel, like that, not Travis Scott, but Bryson Tiller, like stuff like that. The Weeknd, they're sending their stuff out. They're sending their stuff out to a bus channel that has a loaded of specific plugins on it. So for this lesson, we're going to be using reverb. So what I'll do is I'll create a regular aux track, and then I'll name it reverb or verb, and then I'll put my reverb here, my deverb, and turn it up to where it's kind of overbearing, because what I want to do is I want to give it more signal here so I can adjust it on the faders. Show what's a good thrush peak for the bus. Thrush peak for the bus. For which one? For which bus are you talking about? Just the regular bus, like the one that your vocal is on, like the one that your hook. So you're saying what's a good volume for your bus fader? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, like main vocal. Okay. I would honestly, I wouldn't go past.
Guess I'm moving on.
Even this is a little loud. Like I wouldn't even go this loud.
Guess I'm moving on.
You see where this is at? It's basically getting to like around this point for reduction. I would get it to like there. I wouldn't try to get this reduction way down here. Like sometimes if it's peaking like down here towards this area, I would just honestly back up the signal. There's too much signal coming in. I would back up the signal from here. So
guess I'm moving on.
boom, by backing it up 5.9, I gave it that. But
guess I'm moving on.
You see how that changed from when he first came here? See how this part changed? I mean, from when the vocal first came out. So what ended up happening was,
guess I'm moving on.
You can see it right here. This is your reduction right here, right?
Guess I'm moving on.
The more I back this signal up, the more this reduction is gonna go away.
Guess I'm moving on.
But now the vocal sounds really weak. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta find a fine balance. You gotta kind of use your ear and find a fine balance for it. I don't try to go too. I try not to have it like be too quiet or obviously be too quiet or be too loud. So I'll find like a middle ground, like right here. So I'll start off at 0.
Guess I'm moving on.
Sometimes 0 is it for me, bro. Like right now, like 0 is seeming like a good spot. I'll probably knock it up maybe 2 dB. What type of track is the light green? What type of track is the light green one for the vocal? The light green one for the vocal. Oh, this is the hook. This is the hook track right here.
Guess I'm moving on.
This is for the hook right here. I don't have everything color coded yet. Like I said, I didn't really finish going in on this yet. But this is for the hook. Like I said, essentially I use the same ones and I just EQ them differently. So this is the hook, this is the backgrounds, this is the dubs, this is the verse right here. So for this what I did was let me show you this verb. Let me show you this bus real quick for this verb. So I still wanna feel. Is it an aux or stereo? This is a stereo aux right here. This is a stereo aux channel. And the buses, like so for the reverb and stuff, this is a send. It's a reverb send. It's also stereo. See, verb right here. It's a send. It's a send. So and that's this right here. I'm gonna show you what that does. So as I turn this up, you're gonna hear more of the ambient sound start to fill up the vocal.
Guess I'm moving on.
Hear that?
Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm.
And now I'm gonna do it without it.
Guess I'm moving on.
That's cool. It sounds alright because I got a little bit of deverb on it right here. But let me show you.
Guess I'm moving on.
See that?
Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm moving on.
Fire. So what that is, like I said, I set up an aux channel up here, right? And I named it Verb. And what I did was I opened up reverb, deverb, or any reverb that you want. I like the deverb. You can use any kind of reverb. I opened up deverb. I set the parameters to where I wanted, like so. And this actually should be cut a little bit more. Depending on what my preference was, right? And what I also have on the reverb is I also have like a radio kind of filter, so it's not just sounding plain and regular on when the reverb hits. It has more like of the high mids and stuff like that. Like mine's just all over the place, but it's because I just go by my ear. So, so then I'm sending this signal just straight to the submaster, and from the submaster that goes into the master. So what happens is now that I have this reverb on here, I can start actually adding other things like parallel compression. Parallel compression will let me strengthen the vocal a little bit without distorting it. So I'm gonna show you which one. Hold on, let me see which one is my parallel, my dual compression. 21, 22. All right. So I'm gonna enable 21 and 22. It's right here. So all right. So I'm gonna channels connected to stereo channel to audio stereo channels. Yes, they can be aux or mono. It doesn't matter. Aux channels can be pulled up in any one of those settings. They can be pulled up in mono or stereo. But yeah, let me show you this parallel compression without. Let me show you this vocal without parallel compression. I'm gonna show you it with parallel compression. So this is without.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
All right, bet. So that's without. Now I'm gonna let you hear it with parallel compression.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
You hear the presence that it gives. You hear that the presence that the parallel compressor gives the vocals. Like listen to it without it.
Guess I'm moving on.
Now listen to it with it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on.
It's crazy. Now without it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
So now we got other little things like delay. Like I'll have a delay going throughout the whole entire song, because I just want the ambience of the song to fill up. So I'll just put like a little what's that, eighth delay? Yeah, I'll put an eighth delay on it.
Guess I'm moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on.
So this is dope. Hold up, give me 1 second. So now we have this part right here. We have this delay. All right, so check this out.
Guess I'm moving on.
See, you can't even hear it, but you can feel it. Like this thing right here, I'm gonna show you. Hold on, I'm gonna turn it up so you can hear it.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Hear that delay? That's going on throughout the whole entire track on every single vocal channel. and you can't hear it, but you can feel it with it, and it just fills up the entire mix.
Guess I'm moving on.
Dope. Let me play that real quick.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
So what's happening with that? All of that is going. What's the settings you have on the H delay? Okay, let me show you that real quick. So for the H delay, I have a fourth on there. And it also depends on the tempo too, bro. If if it's double time, then it'll feel like an eighth. A fourth will feel like an eighth if it's double time. So I have this is my settings right here. So it's more of a like a radio filter. Let me just solo that.
Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving. Guess I'm moving on, moving on. Guess I'm moving on, moving on, moving on.
Dope. This is a really dope plugin. And the feedback isn't too strong. The output, the wet is all the way up, but the output and the feedback isn't too strong. I have it rolled off a little bit so it can feel like it's more of a radio type of effect. Yeah. So and the same thing for the dual compression. I'm using the SSL compressor. Go through the basics, fam. A lot of terms still looking confusing. Well, the basics. Yeah. The basics will get you up to speed. The basics is kind of more for like people who are already, engineering and just want to know the template and how the template works. But we have our one-on-one sessions. So our one-on-one sessions is really like fundamental basics. And then you'll get into these terms a little bit later. But since you're understand all the different plugins and the way they work exactly, so that's a part of the archive of like the first episode and the second episode was basically breaking down the template. Yeah, run it through the whole track, bro. Yep, run that through the whole track, and just put it on the aux and the send, and then just have that joint run through the whole track, and it's just like ambiance, bro. It's like it's there, it's more felt than heard. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, bro, is our sessions, our one-on-one sessions, are more so gearing you and getting you ready for this. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, there's a lot of people there's more demand for people who already started working Pro Tools and just wants to know a little bit more how to clean up their vocals, how to do like different kind of effects and stuff like that. But like I said, you're gonna get there. And the more of the one-on-one sessions that we do, the quicker that you can get to this point, because it's a lot. As you can see, it's a lot. But once you get the formula and everything down pat, you straight. Like once you understand how to route things, like basically, I'm sending this. This is a send, and I'm sending what is that? Reverb. I'm sending this reverb. I'm sending that to this channel. Like, once you start understanding how sends work and how, routing and busing works, like, you're going to be able to do a lot. You're going to be able to do a lot. Because all of this right now is routed to my submaster. All this is routed to the submaster, and the submaster is going to the master. So, listen to what happens to the whole entire track when the master goes away. Completely dies. Everything dead. Listen. Then when you add the master on, everything comes back to life. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys the template. I want to show you guys my this for the next class. I'll show you guys because we got to wrap up. I have to do a lesson for Berkeley at 6. So I'm gonna show you guys what's something else that you want to know, Dion, for the next class. Is it mixing the beat, or do you want to know how to record? Because I was gonna have a singer come in and probably do some recording and showing people how I record and do stacks and stuff like that, and different types of harmonies and different types of techniques to that you can use to record singers or record yourself because you sing on that LA2A Submaster. Do you run? Yes. So I used to do that. I still flirt between the two, bro. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out, because right now I run my instrument straight to the master. I run these straight to the output of the master, right? And then what that does is that gets me about effect transitions. Okay, I could do that. I could definitely do that. Because what happens is now the submaster is just strictly for my vocals. Like, there's nothing interfering. There's no music interfering in the submaster. So I find it that the vocals are able to breathe more, and they're able to kind of like be a little more aggressive with the music, opposed to sending the instruments to the submaster with the vocals, because it becomes a power thing. Like, whatever is more dominant in power is gonna peak at more time at more times than the next. But yeah, I'll show you about that too. But that's something that I literally been flirting with. And there's all kinds of different like creativity tricks that we can do. Like, I think I did a couple in here. Hold on a second. I did a couple in here. What did I do?
Only be getting your love on occasion. Let's face it. Don't wanna be down for the ride. You just want the aim.
Talking about like stuff like that. Like,
let's face it. Don't wanna be down for the ride. You just want the aim.
Some of it, bro, is just like real basic. Like, I just did a stutter here with a reverb clap. You know what I'm saying? Started there with a reverb clap, and then I think I did a reverse in with the bass or something. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Oh, I did a reverse in right here. On the snare, I just did a reverse on the snare just to bring it back in. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. Only be getting your love on occasion. Let's face it. Don't wanna be down for the ride. You just want the end game. Yeah, right. I'll show you how to do that That's basically once you find the tempo, bro. Like when you find the tempo and when you know the tempo to a record, it lets you do anything you want, bro, on this grid. Like, so I know the tempo to this record, right? So right now I can literally, legit. Let me see. Let me just group this real quick. I can legit like get crazy. So say I wanted to do something like I could legit get all kinds of crazy if I wanted to, because I can move freely because I know the tempo of the joint, so I already know where everything is gonna land. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I wouldn't do nothing like that. I wouldn't do nothing like that. Let me see. Let me see what I would actually do. So I would do something like, say I wanted to do something like. Saying? Like, you really get crazy with it. You really get crazy with it, bro. You really, really get crazy with it. Like, once you know the tempo, you can kind of just get creative on your own and just go crazy. Let me see. Nuke, I know this is advanced right now, but like I said, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that. Yeah, bro, you can get stupid, and you know, obviously, it can get more crazy. Word. But let me get to this class, man, before they get crazy. And his back, he goes. You know I love you, bro. Appreciate you. All right, Nuke, I'll see you Tuesday. Dion, hit me. Let me know what's up. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. International show. This is the course on how to record and mix singing vocals. I will see y'all. Very, very advanced. We're very advanced. I know I'm hip. We gonna break it all the way back down, bro. And I'm gonna send you the. I'll send you the. I'll hit you up about the links to the first ones, and so that you can see what the plugins do. It's still going to be a little bit advanced, but you can kind of just look at the process that we go through, that we walk through for each plugin, and my explanation on what they do. All right, catch y'all next week.